Hey, true believers. Chris Mack coming at you with Astonishing X-Men #1 Director's Cut. And guys, this book is awesome. Now, the print date on this is July 2004, and this comic series came out in a time when we really needed a good X book. Because at this time, Uncanny X-Men was being written by Chuck Dixon, and I can't remember who was doing the X book. That was kind of all over the place. And then Morrison's, really good new X-Men was coming to an end. So this just hit at the right time. Now, I want to give a shout out to my buddy Glenn. He hooked me up with a box of comics, and this was one of the ones that came in that was also had a Dawn that we've already gone over. So appreciate you, buddy. Thank you so much. Loved this series. So we kind of open up, and before we even start to talk about the paneling here and how awesome it looks, let's first and foremost give credit where credit is due. This was written by Joss Whedon. For those of you that don't know who Joss Whedon was, he was the partial director of Justice League and was also the founder of the most epic sci-fi TV show, Firefly, and Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog, which if you haven't seen that, it's really funny. And then the artist is John Cassaday, colors Laura Martin, and the letterer was Chris Eliopoulos. If I butcherized that, I'm sorry. So this is kind of how you #1, because we open up on a threat. We see ominous tones, ominous figures. But before we can even jump into that, we're, of course, established at Xavier's Institute for Gifted Youngsters. And this is Kitty Pryde. She is rejoining the team. And I like how she goes, nothing has changed. The place was destroyed, and now it looks like nothing happened. No time has passed. Now, I love when a writer and an art team are able to work together to really capture a mood. So she uses her power to kind of establish, for those of you that don't know, wouldn't know who Kitty is, they show what her power is. Okay, she can phase. And as she's thinking, for the older fans, we get some of these more iconic moments like this one from Uncanny X-Men 168 when Xavier, I think it was after a bout with the Brood. Xavier demotes Kitty to the New Mutants because she's younger, and at that point he'd gotten a little more protective, because when he created the New Mutants, he said that they were not going to be an active team, because at that time he thought the X-Men were dead. I believe they were in space fighting the Brood, so everyone thought the X-Men were dead, which is not one of the first times. So anyway, I think at this time he just didn't want Kitty to get hurt because she was so young and she's going on all these epic space battles. So he wanted to demote her to the New Mutants, and that's why, for those of you that have seen the meme, that's why she said Professor Xavier's a jerk. Check out Uncanny X-Men 168. Now, I don't really like to go through all the panels here, but check this out. She goes, I'm a kid again, out of my depth. I'm completely overwhelmed by everything here. And it isn't the Sidri or the Sentinels or the Brood that surround me. It's the smaller pieces. Now watch this. See how there's this big, grand scale, this empty hallway, and she's just standing there alone. And this kind of harkens back to, I think it was Uncanny X-Men number 140. If I'm wrong, let me know down in the comments, but I believe 140 was the funeral for Jean Grey when she initially sacrificed herself after the Dark Phoenix saga. And one of the last panels it shows a taxi pull up, and it says a young Kitty Pryde shows up, but the mansion shut down because of the funeral, so she ends up sitting on the stoop. So this very much throws back to that, but you can just see this. And then when she says the small pieces, she goes, shards. And I don't remember what issue this was, where she put the mistletoe over Peter's head. And at this point, Colossus died. He sacrificed himself to cure the legacy virus. So no Peter. You can kind of see her starting to remember. And then we go back to an empty hallway. So this reminds me of that, the whole you can't go home again feeling, because even though she's changed, nothing's changed. You see what I'm saying? So I really like that. And again, that's why I said I love when the artist and the writer can really give off that feeling, both in the narrative and what you're seeing, because this is a visual medium. And then I love her face here where she phases into this meeting and she goes, "At least I hope I'm not late." It's possible that I'm late. Quite so. And at this point, Emma is part of the X-Men. If you're not sure how that happened, again, check out Grant Morrison's new X-Men run. That was really, really phenomenal. And again, the art team. Again, this big, grandiose room, platform. And she's like, "Oh, hi." And here's what's kind of weird. And again, I think it was Emma growing and changing at this point, because up to here, you'd seen her as a villain. Because when Kitty Pryde was introduced, so was Emma. And I think it was X-Men number, I want to say it was 132 way back in the day, because Emma was trying to recruit Kitty for the Hellfire Club. And at the same time, Xavier was trying to get her to come to the X-Men, because both of them had sensed a powerful mutant in Deerfield, Illinois, which is where Kitty's from. And so it's kind of weird to see everything come full circle where we have two people, a villain joining the team. And now listen to what she's saying, how to these new students, where she's saying this is a place of learning. Control your power, the safety of those around you. It's of paramount importance. Violence of any kind will never be tolerated. And after she says that, you can see this deadpan look on her face, and boom! Oh my goodness. This is another one of those iconic panels from this book. 2004, man, I can't believe it's been that long. Yeah, but anyway, this is one of those more memorable scenes from this book. And the terror, then just the threats, the way the down and paneling of it just looks so awesome. But you come to find out that that's just that they're in the danger room, and Scott's not happy with what Emma did. And she goes, "We've learned the first lesson. They, meaning the humans, will always hate us. We will never live in a world of peace, which is why control and nonviolence are essential. We must prove ourselves a peaceful people. We must give the ordinary humans respect, compliance, and understanding. And we must never mistake that for trust." So I can kind of understand what Emma's saying, because up to this point, humans have been violent towards them. A lot of mutants have been killed for no reason whatsoever. So again, we come back to Dawn of X. Complete 180 to what they were teaching here. Even back in 63, when the X-Men were first introduced, humans and mutants, coexisting in peace and harmony. That's why I'm not really digging the Dawn of X stuff, because the X-Men have become the very thing they hate. They're more Magneto. So anyway, that's neither here nor there. Now, again, this follows the new X-Men. The way the book kind of wrapped up is Jean's Phoenix Force was kind of starting to possess her again, and she was starting to become kind of psycho. So Wolverine had to kill her, and he left the X-Men, I believe, because of that for a while. Scott and Emma, during that time, they had an emotional affair going on that Jean was kind of starting to pick up on. So, Whedon picking up on those points, Wolverine comes back, and we see how Emma here is saying, "We're going to pick up things tomorrow." Now, sun comes out. We see that they're no longer just an emotional affair. They are together. And I love this off panel. So tell me, which stage of grieving is this? Denial? As you can see, Cyclops is not going to take Logan's crap. And it just... Now, you remember how Emma said, no violence will ever be tolerated? Well... as you can see, you know, they're getting ready to fight, and you can see Wolverine saying, "Struck a nerve, Summers." This is good. The guy who's tried to steal my wife since the day he met us is still trying to tell me about what's proper. Only reason Jean and you stayed together at all is she was too strong to give in to what she really wanted. And you were too scared. Hey Logan, that healing power is about to come in really handy. Whew, love that. Because it just kind of shows how these two just deal with each other. And, you know, they've kind of patched things up through the years, but yeah, that was... I remember when I first read that one, because I got the comic book off the rack back in the day when Hastings was still a thing. Oh, I missed that. Anyway, but yeah, Beast tries to de-escalate things, saying, "How dare you guys do that?" And in front of the students, because Scott's supposed to be Xavier, because Xavier's gone. He's off on not Muir Island, Genosha at this point in the Excalibur book. Him and Magneto are trying to rebuild the place after Cassandra Nova and new X-Men destroyed the place and basically massacred every single mutant on that island. So, yeah, again, check that out. But we're going to keep going forward. Now, in the midst of this argument and what they're trying to do here and trying to keep Xavier's dream alive, Scott decides that they need to be a superhero team. And what I love is... what is it called? Wolverine goes, "Oh, don't tell me this is going to be about tights." And Scott says, "It's about everything." Saying how the Avengers and the Fantastic Four don't get chased down the streets with pitchforks and torches and whatnot. So Scott's saying we need to go back and be what we were. Simply put, we need to get into the world, saving lives, helping with disaster relief. We need to present ourselves as a team like any other. Again, complete 180 to what Dawn of X is right now, and kind of what happened with Cyclops as he kind of went crazy during after AVX. But anyway, that's a whole nother thing. And so you can kind of see how this is kind of a shaky team. We got Emma and Kitty, who hate each other for obvious reasons of what happened back in the Claremont days. We have Scott and Wolverine, who are still kind of sore at each other because of the stuff from New Mutants. And I just love how Beast just says, "Am I the only one who's dying to see the outfits?" Now, as the book progresses here, we start to find out who our villain is. So this is the first appearance of the villain. If you want to know his name, check this out. Now, as that's saying, there's another plot point happening that kind of ties into this one. So I like that they're not separate. They tie in. I don't want to spoil it. I want you guys to pick up this book. But what I like here is the suiting up of the team. So, you know, you just get little montage moments. Beast putting his glasses away. The iconic blue gloves. And I love how Logan says, "Time to make nice with the public, Summers?" Skullcap. We have to do more than that, Logan. We have to astonish them. So this right here is a very iconic panel from this book. You know, a lot of people use it as their wallpaper, or if you follow like X-Men groups, this is a photo that always comes back up. And I gotta say, it still impresses. I just love that Dutch angle where it's kind of like this, and you see him walk into the Blackbird. And I love how they kind of chose that their suits to kind of look, other than Beast. I really hated what Morrison did with Beast. I'm kind of glad that they sort of retconned that, but you have to let it go. Other than that, I love how everyone's suits echo kind of what they looked like during the Claremont era, where Kitty kind of had the more yellow and blue suit. Scott's, even though it was blue back in the day, it's gray here. Love that. And of course, Wolverine's tiger stripe yellow, which I kind of wish they would have given him Berserker brown, but that's my thing. And then of course, Emma with her flowing white cape and whatnot. So, yeah, guys, too awesome of a book. And like I said, this comic series just really came out during a time when we needed a good X-Men book. And I'm kind of hoping that happens again. That's why I'm glad that right now, even though a lot of the Dawn of X books have kind of lost my interest, I'm glad that X-Force and Wolverine are still kind of keeping me invested. But you go back and you read stuff like this. Now, One thing Whedon does kind of have a tendency to do that I have to overlook is he kind of gets to be like Bendis, where he starts to get a little LOL random and a little wordy. But I noticed that Whedon was able to kind of pull himself back, and I don't know if that's the editor at this time or if it just was him. You know what I mean? But nonetheless, guys, Astonishing X-Men. Great, great story. Now, if you've enjoyed this book, please make sure to support your local comic shop and see if they still have this in stock. I'm not sure. You can check the dollar bins or whatnot. This director's cut is cool because it gives you like the covers from Wizard magazine and sort of like the scripting that they did with the panels. Really cool if you want to get some more in-depth on this series. And if you've enjoyed this review, we'd really appreciate it if you take a moment to hit like, share, and subscribe. Helps the club channel more than you can possibly know. And if you won't mind hitting that fancy little X bell next to subscribe, that way as we continue to upload content, you guys can come to the channel. Love to hear your feedback and have a dialogue with y'all down in the comments below, or our social media pages, which I'll make sure to leave the links down in the description below. So with all that said, I hope y'all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.